Hello YouTube friends, it's Lee here. Welcome to Junk Journal January for 2025. This is an open challenge hosted by Meg from Meg Journals. There's a link to Meg's channel in my video description box. If you want to check out the people that are actually doing videos for Meg, there's links to them on her video page. Hello everyone, we're up to day 6 and the prompt for today is embossed. Now, we all know there's two types of embossing. There's the stamping embossing, and then there's this embossing where you actually use an embossing folder, and that's the style of embossing that I'm going to be using today. So I've got a couple of papers that have previously been embossed. There's some shopping bag, and then there's these pages from a book. On one side of those pages I have actually painted and then used gilding paste, some gold gilding paste over the top of it. I do have a video about that, so it's in my video description box. There's a link to that video if you want to see how that was done. It's really easy. It's just a matter of embossing, painting, and then putting the gilding paste over the top. So I'm going to use that, and I am going to use this piece that I didn't use in my previous video for something else today. And you'll see what I'll do in a minute, but what I am going to do is cut it out. No, you cut it out. No, you cut it out. I'm going to cut out, after I finish cutting out, I'm going to cut out a couple of those flowers that you can see in the pattern. So I'm going to have flowers, embossed flowers. So I'll just get on with what I'm doing, and I'll jump in from time to time and let you know what's going on in case you can't figure it out. What are you going to ask me? Where did I get the embossing folders from? This one with the numbers on is a Tim Holtz one, and the other one is a Temu one. So I don't know what either of them are called because I don't keep my things in the packaging. Once they're opened, I throw the packaging away or keep it and use it for something else. What else am I going to use that you might want to know about? Gesso, of course. So that's just your bog standard garden variety gesso. I'll probably use a bit of ink. I can't remember. I'll just pop in and tell you as I go along. Now that I've cut them out, I think they look a bit boring. They don't stand out against the background in the way that I'd like them to. I think it's the paint, the brown paint that I used on the paper, the flowery, the embossed paper I'm talking about. So I scraped a bit of gesso over it, but then I decided that I don't really like that either. So I wiped it off the little flower and then just put a little bit on the bigger flower. And then the next thing I'm doing is just wiping my vintage photo stamp pad. This is distress ink. It's not the oxide, it's just the ink. So over the embossed paper, the shopping bag paper, and then around the edge of the page as well. And notice how quickly I took the stamp pad away. I'm very naughty. There's paint on my stamp pad now because I didn't let the gesso dry. So yeah, you were probably thinking, I bet that paint's not dry, and you'd be right. Okay, so I've got my Boyle glue. This is the acetone based glue that I get from the hardware store, and I'm gluing down my flowers. And now I want to add some gold, as I seem to be doing quite a lot lately. Love my gold spatters, love this Kuretake gold paint. The set of it was had 6 different paints, I think, 6 or 7 or 8, maybe 8. Got it from the art store. So I'm just wiping some golds over there to hide the gesso. This is another push and pull one. Oh, now I'm going right in with this bronzy colour. Not actually one of my favourite golds, that bronze, but anyway, I'm using it. So these flowers need something to stand on, so I'm just painting in some stalks. After I've done them, I decide I really don't like the way they looks. They looks awful. Okay, so I go over it with black. They don't stand out enough with just that bronze. Get some black watercolour paint and go over the bronze. This set of watercolours came from Temu. They're really good paints, actually. One side is just, natural colours, and then on the other side it's a mixture of fluoro colours and metallics. So there's, I think it's something like 100 colours in it. I'm not sure, 80 or something. They're only little half pans, but they're really good paints. I really like them for a cheap one. So they cost, if I remember correctly, about 28 Australian. So how many squares are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, there's 10 in each row, and there's 5 across. Yeah, so there is 100 little pans there. So really good value. And if you're just starting out with watercolors, this is a great way to do it. To get some cheap paints and just go for it. Because if you spend money on like Kuretakes, or you get those Daniel Smith ones or whatever, I don't even know half of the names of the expensive ones, and then decide you don't like it, well, you've wasted that money. So I reckon start off with a cheap one. Sometimes the pigment's not real good in them, but most of the time you can darken them by going over the layers, layering over. And somebody suggested, who was it? Another Aussie gal. I can't think what her name is at the moment, and I do apologise for that. But when I mentioned the chalk paints that I got from Kmart, they were on clearance, so they don't have them anymore. And she was telling me about gesso and texture paste for $8 for one of those bigger jars. I suppose it's about 250 ml, maybe 500 ml. So that's another thing. Like, if you're not sure you're going to like the way a product works, don't spend $50 on a Liquitex or a golden. Just get a cheap one, and then if you have to throw it away because you don't like it, or give it away to someone else, inflict it onto them. You don't feel so bad about having wasted your money. Like, if you bought it for $50 and you don't like it, that sort of thing sticks in my mind and makes me feel guilty. Okay, so we've gone over everything with the black watercolour. I've done some mark making. I've got my number on there, number 6, and embossed. Now it's time for some spatters, and I really should move my water container away from where it is, because every time I reach for it you get to see my big fat hairy arm. So sorry about that. I'll move it for the next one. I think I've already done the next one, so I might not have. Anyway, she's done. I love it. Sometimes these really simple ones are my favourites. Not much thought went into it, or there was a bit of thought, but I didn't have to overthink it. I didn't have to rework it like I did with the one previously. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button. If you really enjoyed this video, please leave me a heart or a smiley face or a comment in the comment section. I will love you forever if you do. If you really want to see more of my videos, hit the subscribe button, because I'd love to have you back. So, there you go. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Hugs and cheers from Australia. Hooroo.